let's go ahead and move on to, actually, we're going to back out into 4th grade. We are 15% of the way through. And we are going to move on to multiply by 1-digit numbers. Compare with multiplication. I wonder what that means. What number is 4 times as many as 6? So what this compare with multiplication thing is happening, or is doing, is it's showing us new ways to talk about multiplication, and that's really important. What number is 4 times as many as 6? And I don't know if you recognize that, but this is an equation with a variable. Straight up, like an equation is a sentence. A sentence is an equation. What is 4 times as many as 6? 24 is 4 times as many as 6. Which statement represents the equation 7 times 4 equal, well, now that I'm saying it out loud. What statement represents that equation? Well, this is good because we have a lot of different ways of expressing things, right? If I say 4 less than 28, that's actually subtraction, right? That would be 28 minus 4. 7 is 4 times as many as 28. Well, that's not right. It's close, but the numbers are mixed up. 7 isn't 4 times as many as 28. 28 is 7 times as many as 4. And when we say 7 times as many, we literally mean 7 times. 7 times as many as 4. 7 times 4 is 28. That's why we use the word times. And when we say 7 more than 4, of course, we are normally talking about addition. The number 50 is 5 times as many as 10. Write this comparison as a multiplication equation. So now we're being given words and we're being told to put it into notation. And that's kind of one of the things that I like to focus on a lot at this time. When I say 5 times 10 equals 50, which is what this looks like as an equation. Remember, the word equation comes from the word equals. It is not an equation if there isn't an equals in it. There is, thankfully, an equals in this one, so it does count as an equation. And just kind of let students know that the reason that we have math notation is because we don't want to have to write these words down every time we want to talk about numbers, every time we want to talk about a problem. We don't want to have to use full words when we can use notation instead. That's why these symbols exist. They are not to make your life more difficult. They are to keep you from getting writer's cramp, from having to write words over and over and over and over and over again. 20 is 5 times as many as 4. And students who have been with me for a little while might recognize that that's division. And we've talked about how multiplication and division are really the same process, and about how they work the same way, and how often a multiplication problem is actually a division problem in disguise, because again, they are the same process. To figure out how many times I need to figure out what 20 is how many times as many as 4, I have to divide to get that multiplier. What statement represents that equation? Now, these are tough. The answer is D, but again, it's worded kind of awkwardly. It's true that 5 times as many as 2 is 10, but that's kind of an awkward way for the sentence to be structured. Here's why it's structured that way. The reason why it's structured that way is because it's an equation, right? 5 times as many as 2 is, the word is almost always means equals in an equation, is 10. On the other hand, I would much rather, as somebody who speaks English and, feels like this is an awkward sentence, would probably structure it by saying 10 is 5 times as many as 2, or 10 is twice as many as 5, right? I would probably start with the product and then list the things that you multiply to make it. But it doesn't make that any less correct. It is technically correct, the best kind of correct. The number 12 is 4 times as many as 3. Now, I am going to put this down in the order that it is given. The number 12 translates to equals. This is really important stuff. This is a really important topic because later on when we start doing algebra and we start doing algebra word problems, this is setting that foundation. And if students understand this, they're going to have a much easier time in middle school and high school when we start doing much more complicated versions of exactly this. 12 means equals 4 times, no, not x, 4 times as many as 3. It's literally just taking the sentence in English and rewriting the sentence using math notation instead. It's a translation. Fill in the blank to complete the comparison. 35 is 5 times as many as 7. That is comparing with multiplication. I feel like now that we're beyond the 4 or 5 digit subtraction stuff, I feel like we are going to pick up some steam. Compare with multiplication word problems. Let's go.